An eye for eye will only make this world blind. So, good morning, gentlemen. My today's lecture topic is terrorism. So, gentlemen, let's understand what is terrorism. Terrorism means an act of violence against the civilian or non-combatant people during the peacetime to achieve their ideological as well as political aim. Gentlemen, there are mainly two types of the terrorism. First, a political terrorism, and second, a religious terrorism. First of all, let's understand what is the political terrorism. Political terrorism, that means where an individual or a group of people, they involved in the act of violence to achieve their political aim. They can be separatists, they can be revolutionary people, guard or people, they can be separatists when they're demanding for their separate homeland. If I give you some example of the political terrorism, you will get better idea. The Ulfa in the Assam and Bodoland and the Nagaland's activities in the northeast, and the Naxalism activities in the Madhya Pradesh as well as Chhattisgarh area. These are some good example of the political terrorism. Gentlemen, now come to the what is the religious terrorism. Religious terrorism, that means where a particular person or a group of people, they highly influenced by the religions, and when they have strong faith that their religion is the only deserving religious and in this world, and no people who following other religion, they don't deserve to live in this world. At that time they use act of violence and they conduct a terrorist attack on the other people and who is following other religions. While if I give you good example of the religious terrorism, ISI activities and the Syria and Iraq, and Taliban's activity in the Afghanistan, and the Mumbai terror attacks, even 9/11's attack in the USA. These are some good example of the religious terrorism. Gentlemen, as per data, in this 21st century, more than 1,50,000 people have lost their life just because of the terrorism activities. Gentlemen, let's discuss about terrorism definition. If I talk to on international level, there is no certain definition of the terrorism activity. Just because one man's terrorism activity can be a separatist or a liberation activity for other persons. And if we talk about political terrorism activities, the political terrorists even refer themselves as an we can say freedom fighters or revolutionary people, and they believe that they are fighting for the nation. So this is how world terrorism is a big and vast subject to understand. And while we talk about religious terrorism, people who spreading their ideology or religious ideology, they refer themselves as a mujahideen, fidain. That means they are working behalf of the God. So at that time, it's become a very these topics, this terrorism world make this very confusing. And when we talk about some separatist activities, a person who is involved in the separatist activity, at that time he is a terrorist for the ruling party or ruling government in the particular area, region or the nation. And when the separatist people become successful to get liberations from the ruling government, at that time these people become a leader of the newly separated or liberated nation. If I will give you a good example like Nelson Mandela, when Nelson Mandela was involved in the liberation activities, at the time he was like a terrorist to the ruling government. But when he became successful, and he at that time he get out from the jail, and Nelson Mandela become the leader of the South Africa. So this is how one man's terrorist activity can be a liberation activity or the freedom fighting activities for the other persons. So I think international organizations like United Nations, they came on the table, and they should think about, and they should present a new form and new strong definitions on the world terrorism. And still I would like to give conclusion, gentlemen, that to achieve your political or ideological aim, act of violence or the act of violence is not a solution. Thank you, gentlemen.